So let's talk a bit about the Batman without spoiling it for anyone.
Oh, shucks. That's a shame.
There'll be bats in it. There'll be men in it. That's it.
Yes, both. Well, no. Were there any bats?
Yeah, briefly there were bats.
There were bats.
One occasion of bats.
Okay. Well,
I was going to say, there better be bats. You'll be telling me there's no slow motion pearls falling down a dark alleyway next.
Nope.
Good God. And then I'm out. It's not a Batman film without that.
It's not a Batman film. It's the Batman.
Film. So go on. Should I, who has not yet seen it, go and see this new Batman film?
100%. It is a good nice. Batman film. It is not the best Batman film, not by any stretch of the imagination. There's a lot more love out there for The Dark Knight, quite rightly. There's a lot more love out there for Batman 89, quite rightly. But it sits very comfortably in the upper half of Batman movies. It excellent. Is for those who don't know, this is Batman in the second year of him being Batman. But rather than fighting any kind of, overpowered supervillain, it is a detective story. This is Batman brought on as a consulting detective in order to try and catch a serial killer who calls himself the Riddler. And it just works. The stripped back premise is great. And it does a lot of favors for the movie. I'm going to tear apart my own review a little bit in saying I compared it, as a lot of people have compared it, to Seven and Zodiac, but it is not as clever as either of those films. It takes elements of tone and atmosphere, and in some instances cinematography, from those movies. But
yeah, it's not unreasonable to say it's kind of Seven light.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
I mean, which is good for a Batman movie.
Yeah.
But if you were expecting it to be actual Seven, then maybe some of it's a bit convoluted and a bit contrived, and also a little bit safe, because
it's
it has
funny
to be
that
for a Batman.
It's true. It's funny that in either Seven or Zodiac there is like a cryptic clue provided to the people investigating the case, and they agonize over it and they theorize over it and they research. In the Batman, a cryptic clue is presented to the Batman and he solves it immediately.
Yes. But he's Batman. What on earth do you expect? He's the world's greatest detective, Tom. Come on.
He really earns that in this.
To be fair, that is in the comics. I remember some of my favorite Riddler comics. He gets a puzzle from the Riddler, which as a reader, you're reading it and going, what? That doesn't make any sense. And he'll go, yeah, it's that. And you'll think, no one could have jumped to that conclusion whatsoever. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
In a way, that's quite nice, because it sort of harks back to a Sherlock Holmes style of detecting, where as a reader or as a member of the audience, you could not possibly work these things out. But he can work it out immediately.
He's memorized all the train times and has figured out
so the one thing the one thing I want to know now, Tom, after you've set that up really nicely for me, is he's brought on as the consulting detective, if you like. Do we ever find out what his day rates are? Because frankly, that's what I'm more interested in. What is the day rate for a consulting superhero?
No, he's not in it for the money.
I don't think. Do you know what? I don't think he needs the money, Mark. I just have that hunch.
But no one knows he's Bruce Wayne. He doesn't have to put Bruce Wayne on his invoice, that he gives to Jim at the end of it. He could just put B-Man Esquire.
Yeah, Batman services rendered. Please pay Wayne Enterprises.
Batcave Gotham. That's all he needs to put on it. The taxman ain't going to worry about it.
The thing to super recommend the new Batman movie is not the plot, although the plot is fun and it is engaging and it is a different type of Batman movie in that it really does focus on the detective work over punching people.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing about it, and I didn't call him out specifically in my review, but it's Greg Fraser, who's the cinematographer, who has done an amazing job in creating a new cinematic language of Batman. I'm not really sure Yeah, it's incredible. When you think of all of the Batman images from cinema, it is about the Dark Knight, the lone figure, the brooding, all of that stuff. To an extent as well, the Batmobile, that almost entirely goes out the window. Not completely, but almost entirely goes out the window for the Batman. And all of the new Batman iconography is Batman and someone. It is all to do with Batman saving people, Batman with the thugs, Batman with Catwoman. And it's all about his presence as a hero. I think this is probably the most heroic I have ever seen Batman in a film. Yeah.
Good.
It's not all
sold
sunshine
it to me,
and roses.
Tom.
Good. I'm glad.
Sold it to me.
It's definitely worth seeing. I mean, yeah, it isn't a perfect movie, but I would say, it made me realize that the nice thing that they've been able to do with Batman over the years, obviously exceptions proving the rule, is they managed to stick a lot of different actors in this role and do pretty, do justice to the character. Maybe it's a testament to how strong the character is and how anyone can dress up as Batman and do it. But also, I think it's that they've managed to make him, James Bondishly beyond the actor who plays him. So when I watch this, I think, yes, I'm okay with different people playing Batman in the latest graphic novel style movie of Batman. And if next year they want to do an Elseworlds, I'm okay with that. And if the year after they want to bring Affleck back for a Justice League movie, I'm okay with that. These can all kind of exist, maybe in a way that we couldn't see anyone but Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man. We're okay with lots of Batman.
There's something to be said. Okay, there's something to be said for Marvel creating their cinematic universe, but there's also something to be said for DC looking at comics and how comics work. And as you would get a different artist on each run of the same character, they seem happy to give different artistic direction to their films at the moment. And I think that's a great way forward, because it makes it feel more like the feeling that you would get from seeing a new artist's take on an old character.
No, I agree entirely. I mean, in the last 12 months, I've watched 26 of the animated DC films.
Good Lord.
The vast majority have been Batman. And they've been absolutely brilliant. I would go out on a limb to say I would take a new animated film over a new live action Batman any day of the week. Granted, that might be because they're all about 75 minutes long, not 3 hours. So, but I just love that the animated films have done exactly that. There's no overarching continuity. There's no narrative. It's, hey, here's a comic book character. We're going to stick him in a comic book story for you. And next year, there'll be a different story with a slightly different character. But this one might pop in because it doesn't matter. And I think that freedom to then do whatever they want with it, I think has been what's most refreshing across those films. I mean, ironically enough, Kaz, I know you've watched a lot of the animated films. I think Batman is the one character that they don't mess with, the most. That he's basically the same Batman, no matter what crazy universe the film is in. Be it, I think it's Justice League Gods and Monsters. He's an actual vampire bat. Whether or not it's Batman Ninja, where he is an actual ninja, back in feudal Japan, or even Gotham by Gaslight, where he's probably at some point Jack the Ripper, back in Victorian London, but he's still the same Batman. But again, I think that's testament to the power of the character, but also the bravery of people to say, we're going to take this character, and he's the same character, but we're just going to really cock up the worlds he's in, stick him in this stupid world and this stupid world with this stupid character and see what happens. And to a man, they've all been brilliant. I'd take the likes of Batman Hush over it. I think stuff like that is on a par with what Nolan did, quite frankly, for the character. So
wow.
Yeah, I would be super up for if DC did that with this, a different Batman in a different story, in a different universe every year. Boom. Thanks very much. Take my money.
I would quite like to see our bats do another. I don't want to see them do the movie that they seemed to set up in.
We need another Joker movie. Ooh. That's what we need. We need another Joker movie. What we need right now is another Joker movie. In fact, no, we need two. We need one as a sequel to the Joker movie, and we need one there's a sequel to this with the Joker in it. And maybe in that Flash movie, if Batman's in that, we could have the Joker as well.
Yeah. I mean, we mock, but come on, we could be getting a Gorilla Grodd movie. So, it could be worse.
That doesn't make me want another Joker movie.
No.
Of any.
No.
It just doesn't. It was a great thing about this was I really liked the Riddler, and they did a good job with the Riddler. They didn't. I mean, I like Jim Carrey, but he's not the Riddler. And
they turned the Riddler into just a guy, which worked for the movie. You can't turn the Joker into just a guy. I mean, you can, but they already did it. You know what I mean? There's nowhere new for that character to go.
So which is why I'd like to see him just do something completely, off the walls.
There's been lots of fan speculation online, which means absolutely naff all, about it maybe being the Court of Owls that they go for next, which I would be super interested in seeing, and carries on nicely from the type of plot that is set up in the Batman. I think that would be a great idea, and just leave the big hitters from the Rogues Gallery alone for a while. Let them rest. Specifically, the Joker. Let him rest.
They can have 1 year off, and then I want 6 Joker movies.
I want Mr. Freeze. Come on.
I still see you.
Only if he's with the Joker. The Joker plus.
Bring Arnie back for Mr. Freeze. That'd be amazing.
Oh, yes.